There are 4 things most of us who play MMOs look for in order to get enjoyment out of the game. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to call them the 4 cornerstones of an MMO. These 4 cornerstones all relate to each other and I think have to be present all together in order to work. These 4 cornerstones are the goal, the challenge, the reward, and the recognition. There's not much to explain here, it's pretty straightforward. Goal is the target you set for yourself. It's something you can push towards and, most importantly, achieve. Challenge is what happens during the goal. It's something that tests us, makes us think, sweat, grind, etc. It's what makes the goal worth achieving. Reward is the shiny thing at the end. It's a mount, an item, a number. Finally, recognition, and this is the tricky one because it involves an element outside of the game itself. It's how other people view the goal you just achieved and, if it works correctly, a certain appreciation for what you accomplished. Let's take a few examples here using current retail WoW. I think most people would agree that some of the pillars, perhaps the most important of pillars of modern WoW, the reasons we play, would include collecting, raiding, parsing, and for the very elite, racing. The goal in collecting is very simple. You target a certain thing in the game you want to collect, be it mounts, pets, transmogs, titles, whatever, and you start collecting them. The challenge here is usually the grind. There are a lot of mounts, for example, in World of Warcraft, and the ones worth getting usually have a pretty low chance to drop. The reward is the collection at the end, and the recognition, well, like I said, this is the tricky part. If you're a top 1% collector, you'll get some recognition for sure. Whip out a series of ridiculously rare mounts enough times in the middle of a big city, and eventually someone will be impressed. But for the majority of casual collectors, there's not much recognition to be gained here. Raiding, parsing, and racing can be summed up similarly. The goal is clear. The challenge is the raid itself, and in terms of parsing and racing, it's the competition against other players and guilds. The reward is an item, it's a number, it's a time. And once again, in terms of recognition, if you're in the top 1%, there is actually a lot to be had here. The race to world first is the manifestation of this, a goal with so much recognition to be had that there's a whole show built around it now, with commentators, sponsors, the whole 9 yards essentially.
Just chill, okay? Just chill. We're gonna just keep them alive. Keep the infinite duress alive. Just external them, I'll call their name. External them, external them, Let's fucking... Fuck yeah!
But there's a commonality all of these pillars in retail WoW share, and that's how difficult it is to achieve something, well, difficult. I had a very minor glimpse of this back in 2010 when I was part of the first Horde guild on our server to clear 10-man Lich King Heroic. What was the recognition I gained? Well, it was some messages of congratulations in our guild chat and a single forum post up on the WoW forums noting that the Horde had finally cleared Lich King Heroic. It's a mere drop in the ocean of fame, but boy did it taste sweet at the time. But I had to work for that. That little tiny drop, I worked my arse off for that. We raided 3, sometimes 4 times a week for over 4 hours in the evening. I was in my early 20s at the time and so I could commit. But nowadays, with a job and a kid, there's no way in hell I could put that time into trying to get that little drop of recognition again. And let's be honest, the scene has improved so much since then that even if I did have the time, I'm still not sure I could manage it. So I think it's fair to say that recognition in WoW these days is the sticking point when it comes to the cornerstones. Even the tiny little local recognition that I had back in 2010 is pretty difficult to get if you're in any way a casual player. So what has this got to do with WoW Hardcore? Well, I think, for a time at least, WoW Hardcore is able to deliver the 4 cornerstones to even the most casual of MMO enjoyers. The goal: level to 60 without dying. The challenge: time investment, sloppiness, luck, your lack of classic knowledge, other players' stupidity. The reward: the number 60 beside your portrait. The recognition. Okay, so we're back to this little stickler. Before I make my argument for this, I want to show you a little clip I took from a streamer named Joker. Joker's been a WoW streamer for a long time. This guy probably has more game time on WoW than my 3-year-old son does on this earth. The point is, he's seen it all. Nothing is really going to surprise him anymore. So here's the clip. It's him inspecting another player while he's playing the hardcore challenge.
Wait, he actually has better boots. Never mind. I wasn't gonna give them anyway. I was kidding. He has really good boots. Wow. Wait, you have a helmet? Oh, wait, isn't that from the quest? That's from the quest, right? Like, yeah, Morbin Fell, dude, what a gamer. This is actually a big W for Alliance. You can get a sick helmet at, like, level 30. Or doesn't have a helmet you can get, right? Like that. I don't think so. That's a fat helmet.
What a gamer. Okay, he's playing it up a little bit, but there is something here. This streamer, streaming to, I think at the time, around 6,000 viewers, I think he was genuinely impressed that this rando had a hat. A hat from a quest. All this rando had to do was complete a quest, albeit a difficult one, and you have this popular WoW streamer commenting on it. Joker is playing to an audience here, you know, that's his style, but the fact that he is opening to inspect, looking through this guy's gear, there is I think a genuine moment of him being impressed at this rando. And what is that if it isn't recognition? And more so, recognition for doing something any of us casuals could do. I'm going to show you another clip now along similar lines. This time it's coming from an even bigger streamer, a guy called Asmongold, as he's commenting on a series of death clips. The one I want to focus on here, and the one I've clipped, is a run in Moradon and it's gone wrong. The group has pulled too many mobs and they're in trouble. The perspective of the video here is from the rogue in the group, and I want you to watch Asmongold's reaction to the rogue in particular. It's pretty obvious.
Uh-oh, he got them vines out. Kill the what the hell is he blinking around for? Bro, what's this? What the hell are they doing? Honestly, this rogue's playing it pretty well. He blinded one, stopped attacking, gouged the other, is pulling it off of this guy. This rogue's doing pretty well. I love how everybody's attacking a different mob. Oh, there's one down. Okay, nice. See, look, he's even got evasion up. This is really smart. Look at that. Was that the, was that riposte? Don't even think about it. You deserve to live. This guy actually deserves to live. He 100% deserves to live. Do not let him die. What a fucking god. What an absolute fucking god. He did everything that he needed to do. He did it just right. He played it. Oh my god, bro. What a wizard. That's what you like to see right there.
Okay, so similarly, Asmongold here is playing this up for the audience, as he likes to do, like a streamer, you know, would and should do for the audience. But in what context outside of WoW Hardcore would a streamer streaming to over 20,000 people be watching a video of a Moradon run and be calling someone, quote unquote, an absolute god? This rogue did well for sure, but he's not part of Team Liquid in a race to world first. He's not parsing 1% in the latest mythic raid. He's just a guy in a level 45 dungeon. This guy could be playing the game for 3 hours a week and he could get the same reaction. He could be me. He could be you. That's why I think WoW Hardcore is taking off at the moment, which is funny because it's nothing like its actual name. You know, you look at Hardcore and you think this is for the most, you know, elite of WoW players, but I think it's the complete opposite. I think WoW Hardcore gives something for us casuals to achieve again. Leveling to 60 without dying is not the most difficult challenge World of Warcraft have to offer, but it is a challenge. And for now, and the next few months at least, if you're above level 30, 40, you will command a certain tiny degree of respect. If you're a level 60, some people will be impressed. And What's more, it's an achievement that has certain legs to it as well, because not only is reaching 60 an achievement, but maintaining 60 while you gear up is similarly impressive. If you have a few pieces from Stratholme, Scholomance, hell, if you have something from Molten Core or some of the even more difficult raids, people are going to be impressed, even though, like, these raids have been mocked since 2019. You know, oh, you think you're a big man doing Molten Core? Why don't you come to retail where it's really challenging? Da, 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 da. Now, because you're not allowed to die, there is something to be impressed about it. I played WoW on release, and the higher level players were genuinely revered while the game was new. But as the game went on and we got more and more 60s, it stopped meaning as much, because everyone with enough time would get there eventually. Even the worst WoW player, or now I'm not conflating the two, but the most casual WoW player, they're all going to hit 60 eventually. But with WoW Hardcore, there's a certain bar to hitting 60. You are not guaranteed to hit 60, even if you put in all the time in the world, you know? It might be very unlikely if you play extremely safely, but there is a chance that you're going to die and you're going to go back to level 1. Whereas in non-hardcore WoW, there is zero chance that you won't hit 60 if you put enough time in. That's just how the game works. And like I said, there's a bar to maintaining level 60. You know, you can have the worst level 60s in the world playing retail WoW and doing dungeons and wiping constantly. You don't get that in WoW Hardcore. You know, if you do badly in a dungeon, you wipe and you go back to 1. Now, really importantly here, I'm not trying to say that, oh, listen, all level 60s in WoW Hardcore are incredibly impressive players. You know, there are absolutely some terrible players that will get to 60. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a bar there. There's a certain bar there that there's not in retail WoW. And that bar does give you some amount of recognition, especially while this server is new. I'm not saying that level 60s in WoW Hardcore are going to receive the same adulation as level 60 back in 2004. We're never getting back there. But the point is that while these official servers are fresh, it does mean something. It means something. And when you consider how little being max level means in literally any popular MMO these days, having a game where being max level gives you a little bit of credibility, I think that's pretty cool. And you, the person with 7 kids working a 70-hour job that also part-times as an under-14s coach on the weekends, you casual, you can achieve that in all your casual glory. You can be that level 31 gamer wearing a helmet in Duskwood.